Hello, I'm meteorologist Ted Keller. A heads up weather for the Ozarks is necessary. We really, for the most part, dodged severe weather today. I'm recording this on Wednesday. Had a few hail reports, but the tornado threat was southeast of us and doesn't look like it'll materialize more. So that's good. It's on its way out. Now, Friday is something everybody's talking about. And now that has gone into the site of the Storm Prediction Center's 3-day outlook. So that means we get the more advanced numbering system on this. So the Ozarks about split in half really between the level 2 and the level 3 threat, as you see on the scale over here. So that's slight to enhanced is the words that are used on that. But basically 3 is a greater threat than 2, and then 1 is lesser, of course. So the overall picture here is that, and this is typical for the Ozarks, that the initial storms will form out at the western end or the center of this 3 probably. That'll be at their greatest peak. And the way the jet stream is set up, it's almost assuredly going to be a line of storms by the time it starts to approach the Missouri border. And then we'll be looking at little segments within that line to see if they're tornadic or not. And of course, we'll know a lot more tomorrow when we get a little more fine detail. But that's the way it's looking. Now, the CSU severe thunderstorm probability has a tornado threat at 2% for the Ozarks and for all this area. Maybe, I think there might be some room for this. See, there's brown patch right here up in Michigan and around Milwaukee is at 5%, which is interesting. And I am thinking that that is just simply going to be closer to winds which are allowed to come more out of the southeast. Perhaps a low pressure center. I haven't checked yet on that, but I think that's what explains that. You don't necessarily need that when you have a line of thunderstorms like is going to form here, but it does enhance like a local threat in terms of like if supercells form individually at first. So that's that area up there. If I just show you the jet stream here for Friday, this is pretty robust here. This is, by all definitions, a classic severe weather setup here for sure, with plenty of shear and enough time to let the moisture come up. In fact, the little shortwave that's affecting this area tonight, it was not strong enough to send a front down to the Gulf. So really, all this area south of the front here is still prime. So in other words, the dew points are still high. The potential instability is still high. It just needs this next little wave right here to draw it back up, and certainly this time much more to the north than the original than today's. In fact, if you look at the instability for Friday, it's building quite heartily through eastern Kansas, central Oklahoma, and Texas. This would be the instability at, I believe, that's 18Z. So there may even be room for that to get a little bit more unstable in this zone. So again, if you're living in the Ozarks, which is what this video is focused on, we're really not looking at a daytime threat here. This would be in the evening that these storms will roll in. It's a little too early to say if any individual supercells would form, but if they did, it would be most certainly out in this zone and not right on top of us. So there is some breathing room on this. So that's the latest update on that. Now, sticking to the severe weather theme, I did want to jump way ahead to Tuesday, and here's the EPS 500 millibar ensemble flow here. Another little shortwave is moving through New Mexico. That'd be noon on Tuesday. Again, that's many days out to be really precise. But once again, this entire area here is under a severe weather threat because there hasn't been a decrease in the instability. In fact, from this distance anyway, the instability parameters, the darker colors here, have increased a little bit over Missouri, parts of Kansas, Oklahoma for Tuesday. So when I woke up this morning, I saw this on the severe weather outlook from the SPC that 6 days out, we're under actually 7 days out, we're under a 15% risk area, which for that many days out is actually saying something. Now, keep in mind that this has much more time to wiggle around a little bit. There may be another day added to this. I just don't know. But I did want everybody to know that obviously all of the Ozarks is included in this. And CSU's view of it is, yeah, it goes all the way from Michigan down to Texas and Louisiana. And here's the outlook I just showed you, so you can kind of compare the two. Usually the CSU learning model does take things more to the north with all the threats typically, and sometimes more to the east, and that's exactly what's happening here. We do have a rainfall to talk about too now. This is total precipitation Thursday through Saturday, so for the next 3 days. So some of that's tonight, some of that's tomorrow. Much of southwest Missouri is really not in on this unless you live far to the east or southeast. And then over the weekend, actually the Sunday to Monday time frame, it really kind of settles down here, so that's good news. But what's happened again is it comes back here Tuesday through Wednesday. We have another pretty good rain area with widespread 2 to 3 inch totals across southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas. And if I add all those days together, next 7 days, this is what I get. So we've got a 4-inch band roughly around the Springfield area, and areas to the southeast of us appear to be in line to get more rain. But again, this doesn't all come with all the days squeezed together. There's some tonight, there's a little bit Friday night, and then there's again some on Tuesday and on Wednesday. That's when that severe weather threat is forecast for the area. So we'll be needing more heads up certainly here. Maybe one tomorrow. We'll just see if anything significantly changes for Friday. Certainly one on Friday as we get more focused on that severe weather threat for late in the day on Friday.